This project, Sunscreen on the Shore, was done by Sydney Daly, Isabella Ferreira, and Mia Martin.
To start off, this experiment was conducted to figure out how many various sunscreens had an impact on the lifespan of mangroves. 2 different types of sunscreens, reef-safe or non-reef-safe, with 2 different SPF concentrations of 50 and 30 were used. These 4 different types of sunscreens were used to show the effect on the mangrove growth when the sunscreen was applied. This was done to represent the coastal waters where mangroves grow and showed how the pollution of these popular sunscreens is affecting them.
The support from our teachers led us into the direction of being able to test this project. This includes the math teachers and the marine biology teacher, Mrs. Ehlers, with the help of educating, materials, and a place to experiment.
Moving on to our strengths, organization was highest on the list, followed by versatility, communication, and contribution. Invading someone else's lab made us feel we had to compress our experiment, organize materials in our tanks, so we had optimal room to continue.
Versatility comes into play as well, such as when we had other projects to do for our AP seminar class, or having to finish other classes quickly and drop by the lab to work on them.
On top of this, we had multiple classes together and could communicate beforehand to see when we were going to work on this experiment, or even go during our lunch break together to finish the various components.
Because of us going and dedicating ourselves to this, we all contributed equal amounts of time and energy, and that is a strength because when someone else is not contributing, we could not have gotten any of this project accomplished.
Moving on to weaknesses such as inflexibility of timing, lack of research, and the water collection method. Inflexibility of time was the main component because we had other classes or projects that had to take priority in that time, and the class time that was devoted to this project kept becoming slimmer.
In the beginning, when we had noticed a few changes, we talked to a marine biology teacher to see why they were not growing as predicted. And our first question was what kind of substrate is being used. After this, research to see if a substrate should be added or used was done, and the research was done without a substrate.
Collecting water took up most of the time. We had to push carts with buckets down to the pond out front and gather water using a pulley system. This usually took 15 to 20 minutes once we got the hang of it, but by then this is half the class period.
This project demonstrated how the pollution from sunscreen can be detrimental and helpful to the mangroves on coastal waters. Knowing this can contribute to the understanding how the mangroves help to decrease erosion on coastal waters and what could happen in the future if the polluted waters kill the mangroves. The impacts of this death could also lead to diminishing habitats for marine animal life, seabirds, and insects. With this knowledge, the addition of fertilizers in the sunscreen solution can aid in the growth of the habitat.
Upon research, it was found that multiple sunscreens contain a wide variety of harmful chemicals that could be unfavorable for the mangroves. After testing, it showed that the high concentrations of sunscreen contributed to a fast growth rate. The results showed that the mangroves grew faster in tanks with a concentration of sunscreen solutions instead of dying from the chemical toxins in the sunscreen.